Hi guys. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, miss.
Thank you. So we'll start. Thank you. We're gonna start, and then I don't think we have a lot to cover as I mentioned earlier. So we can finish early, or if you guys want to stay in this link and then you want to ask a question, you can do so if you want to. Let's jump right into this. You can see my slides, right? All right. So welcome back to design thinking. Wait. Hope that you guys can see me. Yes. Welcome back to Design Thinking. This is the beauty of online learning or teaching because we're not very much affected with whatever that is going on. And it's already week 4, guys, and you only have 7 weeks. So we don't have, we're already halfway there. It's more than half, actually. So I'm very excited. I think that we don't have much things to do, but we just want to keep everything closely tied together as a whole as well. So we'll see how it goes. So welcome back. How are you guys feeling? That's Jeffree Star there saying, "How are you?" I hope that you guys are still sane, still okay with this whole quarantine going on. I hope that everybody is safe and also healthy, which I'm not. But yeah. So first of all, I am very pleased and I would like to congratulate you guys for submitting your assignment on time. Very good. Well done. So thank you so much for submitting, and I think I'm just gonna jump right into what we are doing today. So this is something that has been done way before. So I showed you guys when you want to find a challenge or try to create a challenge, try to create an idea, the 3 things that you need to consider are these things: desirability, feasibility, and also viability. And it can be translated into these 3 components, which are the needs of the people, possibility of the technology, and also the requirement for your business, which is the viability itself. So when we talk about desirability and feasibility, we're looking at your primary and secondary research, which are done hopefully. So those are the things that we have covered in week 2 and week 3 last week. So I hope that you guys are basically covering half of your journey now. Today we want to focus on business model canvas, which is looking at the viability or looking at the requirement for you to establish your company or your product itself. Okay, so let's just jump right into this. Let's talk about business model canvas. Let's get cheesy and talk about the background. I think it's also important. Yeah, let's just talk about, so business model canvas was created actually by Alexander Oswalder. So basically, why do we need business model canvas? It's because it's a very great tool to help us, to help people in general. Either you guys have been in the business for a long time, or even just starting up a new company, or even a new idea that you have. And you might be thinking like, Miss, this is only a subject. Why are we, why do we have to think in the longer run? Let's talk real business right now. So if we look at um, let's talk about like in general. So I have always been the person who has been, doing what the society asks me. So my mom and my dad told me that you gotta go and get straight A's, and then you gotta get scholarship, and then you're gonna, do well, blah 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 blah. But one thing that I noticed, even though that I was trying hard and my best all the way ever since I was little, I can see there is a gap. I now work as a lecturer or an educator, and I receive money monthly, paycheck. But you can see the difference between having a monthly money that was given to you and you working with people, or sorry, you're working for somebody because you work for them as an employee, and also being the employee itself. So I can see like a lot of my friends who might not be as bright. Is what I mean is that when they start a new business, I can see their life change. On Instagram, I see they use very big cars, very big house. So business is also a very, I think personally, as one of the ways for you to get rich as well. So you might want to consider, doing business, because doing business can help you grow as a person in career, or even you can see a lot of opportunities that can happen in this world today by doing business. Now, business, we might not want to talk about big business. It can be very small. You might have a talent into in making bakings, or making small pastries, for example. Even with that talent, you can even start your small business from there. So I hope that by learning this business model canvas, you would be able to think about maybe some ways for you in future, or maybe you work for a company and you want to think about the business side of this. So hopefully you can use and apply what you learned today into something bigger in future. Okay, so by as I mentioned, by using this canvas, you will be able to see or have some knowledge about the people that you're going to serve, the customers, and what kind of value proposition that you want to offer from your company, using what kind of channel, and exactly how do you get money. You want to see the cash flow going on there as well, because you want to know about the structure of the money organization as well. So not only this is useful for you to think about your own business, but also for you to think about your competitor and think about how that competitor are able to successfully establish a company, and you can learn from that as well. Okay, so today I'm going to give you guys some examples on business model canvas, from big companies, and also from my students who did design thinking classes as well, because you should be able to do this in your one of your group wiki pages. I think it's page 5. All right, let's just go right into business model canvas. So as you can see here, there are 9 elements of business model canvas, and this should be available on Blackboard actually. Okay, so as you can see, I have put some numberings because I think it's much more easier for me to explain using these numbers. Okay, so the first one, always go to the first number. So I gotta say, some of these segments, some of these sections are pretty much redundant to what you guys have done in your report. So it's good in a way that you have the answers already based on your report. So let's go into customer segment, which is the first one. So this is very straightforward. Customer segment is obviously your customers, your target group. Who do you aim to reach out to? Who do you aim to serve this product or this service to? So when you think about this customer segment, okay, remember about what we learned on the persona map, thinking about who could be some of your potential customers. I want you to think in a point of view of demographic, of that person's geographic, and also socio-economic. So you don't have to write specific names like your persona map. You only have to write, for example, teenagers age between I don't know, 16 to 20, for example. Okay, so it can be quite general. I'm going to show you guys some examples so that it's much more clearer. So number one, the first one is very simple. Who are your customers that you want to target to? So let's go into 2 now. So as you can see, 2 here, there's a lot of room to write here. And there are some reasons why you need to have more rooms here, because it's very important, obviously. So when we talk about value propositions, we are looking at how would you able to solve the needs of the people from your customer segment. Obviously, you need to talk about your product and what are the services that you want to give, and how is it your services, how are your services are going to solve the needs for your customers. That is something that I want you guys to be focusing on. Yes, you should be talking about your features, your benefits of your product, but you also need to highlight how is it going to solve the needs for your customers. Okay, so that is value proposition. Number two. All right. Let's jump right into three now. So three is, as you can see, there's a very cute lorry symbol there because now we're looking at channel. So channel, the reason why channel is between one and two, because we want you guys to be able to show relationship. How is it you want to reach out this value proposition to your customers? So basically, what are your mediums of communication that you want in order for you to get this number two to these target groups? Number one. So how does your value proposition get across your customers? Basically it. Okay, and here I think because now we live in a totally different era now, so there could be two possibilities. First one is physical, whereas it's face to face. So maybe retail shop or selling face to face kind of service, or even virtual. So when we talk about virtual, there are lots of mediums. So we're thinking about, online website. We can think about mobile apps. We can think about email addresses, or even, you can be creative. How do you get your customers to reach out to you in order to get their value proposition? That is channel. Okay. Are you going to do delivery? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Think about it. All right, next is number four, which is the customer relationship. Now, customer relationship is based on three main questions. Okay, it's how do you get your customers? How do you keep your customers to become customers? And how do you grow your customers? So, for example, maybe there are certain promotions that you want to give, maybe buy one free one, blah blah blah. How do you keep your customers? Do you have any special tactics or special business plan for these, customers who have been loyal to you guys? Maybe. So, how do you establish relationship with your customers? Basically, how do you make it interesting for your customers to stay buying with your product? Okay, that is number four. Now let's go into five down here. So five is revenue stream. So revenue stream is how do you make money basically. So how do you have revenues and how do you get the earnings? So here in this revenue stream, I wanted to, it could be short term, it could be long term. Short term is 1 to 5 years, and long term it could be 10 years. Okay, so I want to see comparison between, in like a short term, how much profit can you get, and in a longer term, how much profit can you get. I will give you some example, and I want it to be quite specific for this. All right, so you also need to include what are the strategies that you are going to use. For example, here you might have to use some advertising. If you have some fees or sales, you might want to include in your revenue stream as well. All right. Now let's jump into six now. Six is here. Okay. In your report, I think some of you guys have highlighted some of the things, key components in here, and one of it is key resources, which are the experts in that area or in that field. So basically, resources is looking at the question on how does your company, what does your company need in order to execute this business? Okay, what do you need? Maybe if you want to look into the finance part, you might want to need, bank loan or something. If we're looking at physical, you might, if this is something that involves manufacturing and factory, you want to talk about it. If there is any certain machine that you need to do this solution, or even some vehicles that you might need to, deliver a few things. And it could be in a form of intellectual as well. So it could be a patent. Patents is something that is uh, when you create your own idea and you want to make it copyrighted, you as the owner of it, so you establish patents as well. So it's looking at the intellectual property for it. And it could also be in a form of human beings, the experts. So it could be the workers who are maybe packing the food, or it could be the engineers who are working with the product. It could be the designers. It could be, photographer. It could even be some scientists. So key resources are experts or resources for you to create this idea. Okay. Now this is very, very important. Key resources will be further linked to your cost structure, and I'm going to talk about it in a bit. Now let's talk about key partners. So key partners is also something that has been related to what you guys have given me yesterday in your report. So key partners are the people who will be working alongside of you, who are the stakeholders. So basically some partners or even suppliers that will help you to make your challenge or even idea to become true. So you might want to ask yourself, like, who are the key resources that you need in order to get this help. And then you might want to think about alliances or even joint venture. So if your idea is something that has a joint venture, you might want to do that. Maybe you want to joint venture with an artist or celebrity that can benefit that person as well. So you might want to put it in here in key partners. Okay. So I think some of you guys might want to work with the government agencies. You also need to put it here. All right. Now let's go into number 8. Number 8 are key activities. So basically, key activities are what is the most important thing that your company have to do in order for you to have this business to work. What is it that you want to maintain in order for this business to work? What is it going to be? Okay. And lastly is the cost structure. Now, cost structure, there's also quite some space here because it's going to be a lot. As I mentioned, cost structure will be related to the key resources. So all of the experts, all of the resources that you guys use before, you have to pay, right? So you also need to think about, is the payment one-off? For example, advertising, is it going to be one-off payment, or is it going to be like a yearly subscription, or blah, blah, blah. So what is the whole cost of this operation for this business itself? So what's very interesting about cost structure is that you can actually or eventually see what is the most expensive or the cheapest key activities or resources, and from that you can compare the prices, and you can try to cut down some of the resources, or you might want to compare some prices, and you think, oh, maybe we don't need material from here, we can get somewhere cheaper from another company. So by doing this cost structure, it will help you to see which one is the most expensive and which one is the cheapest, and make a comparison, and how can you contribute to get a higher revenue in a short term or even a long term era. Okay, so that is the general idea about business model canvas, and I think I need to firstly give you guys an example so that you can see even clearer, or even if you start working on it, you should be able to know how to do it. Okay, now I want to use this example from Airbnb because I think it's very, very interesting. So this is a business model canvas for Airbnb. I'm pretty sure you guys know about Airbnb, right? Right? Airbnb is the service that offers, uh, you know, you guys know Airbnb, right? All right. So wait, do you guys know Airbnb? You guys know Airbnb, right? Know Airbnb or not? Do you know Airbnb? Thank you. Next. So I don't have to explain about Airbnb, right? All right. So let's take a look at the customer segment first. Please say yes. Thank you. Okay. Um, so let's take a look at the customer segment. Who are the people who will be using this service? Obviously, with the guests, the people who are coming and staying at the house or staying at the Airbnb itself. But it's very interesting because Airbnb does not only have that, it also has hosts, the people who is providing the accommodation itself. So it's very important for you to segregate between these two people. Obviously, Airbnb is the middleman between the guests and also the host. It's also interesting how Airbnb is getting profit from these two different people. Now, what's the advantage of us looking at the Airbnb here? I can see that Airbnb is getting a lot more profit because they have more people or more segmentation here. Okay, so they're not just relying on the guests, but they're also relying on the money coming from the host as well, which is awesome. Okay, if you can tell me. So travel type, it could be people who are, coming for business, or it could be leisure, coming to relax with your family, blah, blah, blah. All right, now let's take a look at value proposition. So because we have two different groups, we have guests and also hosts, that is why there are two different value proposition that you have to do. So for the host, what are the things that you want to sell? How are you guys, how is Airbnb solving the needs for the host is by generating more money for them. So it's very interesting, right? So you can get extra money. Try to make it easy for the money transaction, encouraging them to meet new people or, getting blah, 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 management, blah, blah, blah. And for the guests, compared to, having to stay in a hotel, which is quite, expensive sometimes, so Airbnb offers a lower cost alternative for them. They are promising easy transaction as well, and try to make it very authentic experience and make it more variety, and it has a transparent ratings because the guests can rate the people, the host, and also in a lot of domains like cleanliness, blah 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 blah, blah, things like that. So it's much more transparent. Okay, now let's move into channel. So for Airbnb, obviously they have the power of social media. So they use a lot of digital ads, they have content marketing, they have word of mouth, they have social messaging, referral program, all these different types of how they can come across of the value proposition to their customers as well. Okay, so when we look at the customer's relationship, how does Airbnb maintain, get, keep, and even grow more customers is by owning the relationship and managing the interaction between the host and also the guests themselves. So there are also try to resolve some issues and try to guide them joining the steps, blah 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 blah. Okay, so it's focusing on how does Airbnb try to keep the customers going and maintaining so that they can have a steady revenue here. Next is the revenue. So revenue here, as you can see, there is some numbers, percentages, but I'm going to show you how I want it to be because to me this is very, very general. I'm going to show you guys in a bit on how my students do it. All right. So moving on to, resources now, resources. So resources, who are the experts involved in Airbnb? Obviously the network people, the listing, the content, generation content there, maybe some architecture, obviously some data analytic people, and also branding and applications as well. Okay, so these are the key resources they need to eventually pay and also contribute in the cost structure. Next is the key partners. As I mentioned, key partners are the people involved, but for Airbnb, we have hosts. Host now is the key partners, um, business travel partners, we have travel managers, we have investors, we have lobbyists, maybe some photographer could be some of the partners. We can have maybe some Instagram famous people to, promote things, maybe blah blah blah, insurance, blah blah blah. Okay. Now, key activities. How Airbnb, how do Airbnb maintain the business? What is it that they have to do is by try to remove friction of the transaction in a way. It's Airbnb has to make sure that the transaction, which is the reason why hosts are here, to be the customers as well, to make it smooth, because you want to make it easy for the guests, you want to make it easy to the host. So in order to do that, the most important thing about Airbnb, their role is to make sure that in terms of transaction, everything is easy, and then try to scale beyond critical mass, try to engage with the participants, try to refine value proposal, and analyze data and improve. Okay, so moving on lastly to the cost structure as well. So what are needed and contributed into the cost structure? It could be these things: payroll, contractors, lobbyists, legal settlement, and customer support as well. So if you need more information, you can have a look at here, the link. Not only that, I also give you guys some, different examples from different companies, big companies. All right, so this is an example from my last semester students from design thinking. So basically what this group has done, I want to focus on cost structure and also revenue, because I think when it comes to face-to-face for design thinking, we have the help from mentors. These mentors are the people who have been working for some time in the industry, and we pair these mentors with the students, design thinking students, so that they can help and give their insights into their project. But because you guys are dealing online and it's compressed into 7 weeks, you guys do not have mentors. But I want to show you some of the um, some of the obstacles that my students face and how their mentors help them. This is just some of the few things. So basically, this group is trying to create an app, not only an app, but also an equipment. So actually two equipment. So they are being very, very ambitious. They have a phone app, they have a cane, and also an earpiece to help blind people to live like normal people. So basically, they are trying to have these app and also these games and also the earpieces that will help the blind people to navigate in different places. So this is a very pure, very sweet kind of proposal, and this group managed to be selected in the top 10 out of, I think, 50 or 60 groups of design thinking last semester. So they have done a very good job. But before they start working on it, they were so lost. Okay, once they got the help from their mentors, and one of the big problems that they have is because they are creating way too much. They are very, very ambitious. They have 3 things to do, and not only those 3 things. What does it mean? It means that this product would be very, very expensive. Not only these are very expensive, you need to think about in a longer run and in a short term, how much profit are they going to get? And do not forget, this solution, this idea is only trying to cater, and their target customers are only blind people. The percentage of blind people in Malaysia, we don't have much, blind people. Obviously, we have blind people and we need to cater to them as well. And this is one of the wonderful ways to do it. But that was their dilemma back then. Their customer, their target customer was too little, too narrow, and it's, resulting to problems when they try to create revenues and also cost structure, because the cost is high, but their revenue could not, make it bigger and bigger. So their mentors suggested them to have like an installment. Okay, so which is awesome because we know that the government is supporting, this, or maybe they can link and also have a key partners with the government. So I thought that this was mind blowing and was very brilliant. So what I'm saying is that do not limit yourself. So even though that there are some problems before, but after meeting and thinking and creating, and researching online, this group managed to come out with a very smart business model, which is having an installment for these blind people. So maybe these blind people, they do not have much income, but maybe they can have some help and some data from the government maybe, and they can choose, one of these categories. They can either, try to pay 100 per month or even 400. So what's even smart about this is that not only this installment is going to help with their with their revenue, but also trying to maintain the customers themselves. So just now we talked about how do you engage, how do you get more customers, and how do you maintain old customers is by having these kind of installment solution. So this is very smart and mind blowing. I think a lot of us were, I was surprised that this group managed to come up with this, and they, got into top 10 because of this, because the idea was there and they managed to complete it with a very unique and very successfully do their job. So I was very mind blown by them. Okay, so I also want to show you guys an example of how you can do the cost structure itself. So here, so this is a different course. This is a critical analysis class, almost like a design thinking. So basically, this group is trying to create a new product, try to launch a new product for this company called Wincoat International. So it's very, very interesting when they have, okay, here the materials needed are these, and these material will contribute into this budget. And then they can see the revenue, the net profit, okay, the total sales of the jacket, and blah, blah, blah. And from this, you can see the short term and also the long term revenues that you can get. Okay, and not only that, all of these materials are being translated. Sorry, these materials are being translated into this. Okay, so it's very, very detailed, and I think I really do appreciate such research. This is amazing, and I think this is even harder to do because they are dealing with different types of materials for fabric. So what I asked them to do is that I asked them to go online, Google on Shopee, Lazada, or any kind of online, and look what is the price for 12 meters or 1 meter, how much for that. And I think they have done a very good job. This is really worth mentioning. Okay, these two are the things that I want to see in your business model canvas. Okay. So for your business model for your Blackboard task this week, you have to insert and create your business model canvas using the template in Force folder. It's easy as that. I also would like to remind you about your online survey. So basically, you have a draft of your online survey already. If you are very confident about your survey questions, you can immediately start distributing your survey questions. If you're very unsure and you want me to look at it, you can provide the link and email me the survey questions, and I try to do it and see if I can understand those questions. Start distributing and try to reach out to at least 50 respondents if possible. Once you guys have distribute your survey questions, Hopefully, I will be able to recap again on problem statement and also problem, need statement next week. Okay, because I hopefully by next week you might be able to have maybe half of your respondents already, so that you can see how to deal with it. It's very easy. All right. So these are the things that you have to complete this week. First one is the individual quiz 5, that is 5%. This is about a business model canvas. You also have to try and start to reach out to your respondents by distributing your online survey, and lastly, try to do your business model canvas. Okay? All right. So any questions? Any questions? Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Okay. What does it mean? We need to choose our top 2 or 3. What does this mean that we need to choose our top 2 or 3 solutions? I don't get your question, Tan Jia Hui. Can you unmute your microphone and ask me? Top 2 or 3 solutions.
Hi Miss, can you hear me?
Hi.
Yeah, because like some group, like my group have like six solutions altogether. So because I saw that the revenue in the business template, do we need to like pick up a few that we think that it can work? Then we just work on that. We have to minimize our solutions.
Yes, you need to work only with one solution.
Only one.
Yes.
Okay, so we pick like one, the one of the best one among all the six solutions.
Yes, you should by now actually come out with the one solution already, because even for your yesterday's research report should be only based on one solution.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
June Kem, what was the question? Brainstorming. What is the question? Brainstorming question. Where can I get the brainstorming? What about the brainstorming question? What brainstorming question are you referring to, June Kem? Is it from last week? Last week lah. Okay, so what about it? This one? So basically you need to obviously finalize one solution, and then this is an example from group 1. Okay. Okay, so basically you need to think about, okay, this, because you haven't done your problem statement yet, but you don't need it. You don't need a problem statement to do this one. You need to think about what are their needs for your customers, your target audience, your target customers. How is it? How do you solve these? How do you solve these needs? Basically, do you get it? How might you make blah blah blah? It all depends on your target consumers or your people who use it, and then what are their needs, basically. Do you get it? Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Thank you. So I thought that I might let you guys off and go early today, because you guys have submitted your first report. So that's wonderful. One thing done. But if you have any question, you can raise your hand here. If not, you can leave now. I'm just going to keep this tab open. I'll still be around if you need me, and if you need to ask questions, just click on here, raise hand, and then I'll answer your questions. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, Xiaohui.
Hi, Miss. Our survey can
Hi.
be like the Google form, right? Or maybe through
Yeah,
SurveyMonkey. We just design
yeah,
through that. Then once we get the
yeah,
information, we just have to break down accordingly. That's all.
yes. So if
Do we
you're
need
not
to?
very
Yeah.
confident,
Yes.
you can email me the link,
Okay.
and then I try to answer it, and then I let you know. Then you can start distributing.
But it should be okay, right? Because like last week, we actually also segregate in groups like demographic, specific question, general question. So we just
Mm,
design according to that. That should be okay, right?
yes. So if you are
And
very confident, you can
mm,
just start distributing.
okay. Do we need to like? We just have to break down the data, right? Do we have to attach like the questionnaire? No, no need, right?
When attach
When
where
I don't know.
when
Maybe
when you
we
done.
no need, right?
Yes, 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 yeah, yes. You have to.
Oh,
Yes.
we have
So
to.
I need
We
to
have,
see. I need to see the findings that you got. So
but where
you
do we
have to
post
show
the
me now.
findings? Because that the findings supposed to be on the research report for last week, but you change it, right? So
I
where do
change it.
we? Yeah. So where do we put
You
these
you
findings now?
you need those findings when you do your pitching. So you need those findings as
Oh,
well.
okay. Also, we
Uh,
don't have to like really upload it somewhere. We just have to present it right during the group pitch.
you also need it in your problem statement here. You also need it. So you need it. That's
Yeah,
why I
yeah, no,
said
no,
that.
but what I mean is that do we need to show you like the findings in like a Word file or something?
No, 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 no,
No,
no.
so we just present by the time,
Mm,
right?
mm, 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 mm.
Okay,
Yes. So
okay,
you don't have to
okay.
do any more reports after this.
Also, no
Just
more report.
the
Not even the survey. No more report. So by the time we just have to tell you like there's like maybe 50 is age 15 or 10 is age 13 like that. Is it
mm, you don't
something
have
like that?
to
I
make
mean in the group.
you don't have to give me a report on it, but you have to give me some sort of like
The
a general
teaching.
findings. Yeah, yeah. So after this, you have to do a bit of prototype, and then you have to do a feedback brief, and try to reflect on what you have learned. So during the pitching session, you can back up your pitching by saying the reason why we're doing this is because our survey, when we did our survey, this is what we found. That is why
Oh,
we feel
okay.
that people
It
need
don't
it.
have to be very specific, like break down one by one and tell you one by one. Just have to like maybe summarize and say, oh, we found that they're this age, they are they don't know about sexual abuse, so that's why we come up with
Mm.
this, that kind of thing.
During the pitching session, you have to introduce the problem that you try to solve. During this
Okay.
problem statement, you have to show us those statistics, show us your primary research, show us your secondary research. So you need it. But it does not have to be in a report. It's just like a PowerPoint slides, something like that. Okay?
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
All right. Any more questions? Can we modify all of our group? Yes, yes, you can modify up until week 7, the last week. So I won't be marking or taking notes. I will be looking if you have done it or not, but I will be marking up until the end of week 7. Okay? Because that is 40% of your whole marks. Hmm? Any more questions? The wiki page 2 content need to do similar to, yes, yes, some of the content are very redundant with the one that you have in your report. Yes. Okay. Any more questions? Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. I'll be here up until 9 if you guys need me. You can leave if you don't have any questions. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care, guys. Thank you. Vigna, Vigna. Are you in our WhatsApp? Vigna. Can I just simply? Yes. Are you in our WhatsApp group? Thank you guys. See you. Thank you. Are you in our WhatsApp group? Thank you. Thank you. Vigna, are you in our WhatsApp group? I sent you an email. Thank you. And have you joined your small group? Small WhatsApp group? You guys are group 4, I think. Or group 3, I don't remember. Group 4, I think. Yours? Have you joined it? Have you joined it? Yes. Okay, thank you. Please start contributing. I shall be giving you a separate instruction in week 6. Okay, thank you. There is no link to quiz 7. Quiz 7. Here we go. Let me check. Quiz 7. Wow, this person already started doing quiz 7. Oh, it's available. Huh? Let me make it available. Right. There you go. Thank you so much for letting me know. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys. Take care. Thank you, Domina. Any more questions? Thank you. Have a good rest. Okay, I think I'm gonna end the session. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any problem, if you have any questions, just email me. Thank you guys. Have a good rest. Bye bye.